So a thought for our beginning tonight would be the effect of old age. So when I was, say, 30 years younger, I didn't have a white beard and I looked like a kind of reasonably interesting guy. And so when I would walk down the street, people would notice me. Kids might notice me, women might notice me, men might notice me. So I had some sort of interaction as I walked along the street or in any other public place. And now, 30 years later, I have a white beard and nobody notices me anymore. I'm like a lamppost in the street. Have you noticed when you walk down the street, you don't really notice the lamppost, right? So when you get to my age, you'll become a kind of lamppost and nobody really notices you anymore. And this is quite interesting because it has some kind of effect, you know? It's not that I really want to meet many people when I walk down the street because I have a lot of meetings like this one tonight and in the community where I live. So I'm surrounded by people who I relate with in a deep way. So I never experience, for example, any kind of loneliness, for example. But it's quite interesting to become old and discover that you become invisible. It's like I always used to watch these programs as a kid. You know, they called them The Invisible Man. And the Invisible Man had a bandage around his body. So when he had the bandage on, you could see his form. And then at some point in the program, he would take off his bandage. And as he did, he would become completely invisible, right? It was called The Invisible Man. I can't remember really, but maybe when I was 12 years old, I used to watch this program. So now, finally, at my ripe old age, I've now discovered that I'm also an invisible man if I go out in the public. And for you young guys, I see we have some younger people here tonight for the first time. Of course, you don't experience that, but you will later in your life. It's going to come to everybody. So this is quite an interesting phenomenon, and which I've only really got in touch with in the last, I don't know, a couple of years maybe. Anyway, that's the thought for tonight's meeting. And so now we'll do a little meditation practice. I do this actually at the beginning of every meeting. It's very, very simple, but it has a big meaning. It has a big meaning because in this meditation, we're not going to try to do anything. We're going to be completely watching. We're going to bring our awareness and we're going to watch. We're going to be the watcher, but we're not going to try to change anything. So I don't know, can you hear me? Raj, could you wiggle your finger if you hear me? Okay, good. Because I've gone off the screen here. If you need to come and rescue me, maybe.
It's all fine for everybody else. You are. It's just. Yeah.
But I'm not appearing on the screen. Oh, okay. Now I am. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so we're going to sit comfortably for about 10 minutes, and we're going to close our eyes, and we're going to look inside. So as you settle down inside, you're going to bring your awareness to whatever you find is the strongest thing. So this may be some thoughts, maybe some emotions, it may be a body sensation, or indeed you may simply feel quiet. It can just be silent. So you bring your awareness to whatever you find, and you don't try to change anything. You simply accept whatever you find. Okay, so then take another look. And once again, bring your attention to whatever is the strongest. Keep your eyes closed. Look inside and bring your awareness to whatever is the strongest thing. Okay, so for the last time, we're going to give ourselves permission to fall deeper inside. Once again, bring your attention to whatever is the strongest. Perhaps some thoughts, some emotions, body sensation, or indeed it may be just quiet. Okay, so you can open your eye, come back into the meeting. We have several new people tonight, and so maybe I would ask one of you if you would like to come through and share something from the meditation. How about Anna? Would you like to share something? Just a way of getting to know you. I don't think I know you, do I, Anna?
Is it me?
Hello.
Hello, Anne-Cathrine
Did we
here.
meet Did we meet before?
No, we did not.
Okay. And where are you sitting?
Where I'm
which
sitting?
Yeah,
In
which
Norway.
Norway.
Norway, yes.
Okay, very nice. We have
Yes.
a Norwegian member of our community here.
Okay, yes, good.
Yeah. Okay.
Very
And are
good.
you far in the north where there's lots of snow, or?
No, I live on the south coast.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Nice to
Alright.
be here.
Okay. So what happened for you in the meditation?
I have a little bit of a headache because of my neck, so I just tuned into that.
Okay.
And then I felt I went deeper.
Okay.
And felt some tension in my solar plexus.
Okay.
And then
Right.
I just let it be there, and after a while I was quite quiet inside.
Okay. Good. Good. Okay. So nice to meet you. We can talk again a bit later.
Yes, very good. Nice to be here.
Let's find somebody else. Jonas, I think it's the first time you've been on this. Where has he gone? I've lost him. Jonas, are you there? I can't seem to find him. I don't know if he's gone. Are you there, Jonas? Oh, you are. Okay, good. So would you like to click on your... I don't see... Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So welcome. So what happened for you in the...
I just felt some stuff moving in the body.
Okay. What
Like,
kind of...
for instance,
Blood was it, or energy, or?
I think it was energy just moving through here and in the back, some energy moving or trying, more like trying to move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Did it get quiet towards the end?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Good. Come and talk to me a bit later.
Okay.
I see Sarah. Sarah, you may be sitting outside somewhere in the wilderness, maybe. Would you like to come through?
Yes, I'm sitting outside. I'm in the north of Germany, near the sea.
Okay.
And,
you can hear the sound of the sea. You're that close?
no, it's not so good. I think you can see it, like, I don't know, in the back.
Ah, okay. Right.
I watched the sunset.
Sunset. It's been a beautiful day today, yeah?
Yeah, I was the whole day outside, and so I felt my body really strong because, my muscles are tense. But also,
you're a bit breaking up. I don't know, but maybe the signal's not so good there. Now it seems to be all right.
okay. Well, my muscles are a bit tense because I work all day outside. I'm living on a farm right now.
Okay.
Yes, and I also felt some emotions. I don't know if they are unsolved or something. I can't really tell what it was.
Okay. Okay. Good. Anyway, you're smiling now. You
Yeah.
can enjoy your smiling face. Okay. So nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I'll catch somebody else. Let me see who else is new. Ah, Petra. I think she may be you. Petra, have I met you before? And if you're there, I suddenly, something has happened on my screen.
Oh, okay, I'll come. Petra, bist du da? Can you unmute your microphone? Ah, there you are. Petra,
Okay. Hello, Petra. I don't see Petra yet. Can you open up Petra? Ah, okay, now I see. You're almost in heaven. Beautiful clouds behind you. I mean, don't go. I haven't got any sound for her.
Petra, we can't hear you. Can you try and click on the bottom left side? There's a microphone symbol. Next to it, there's an arrow pointing upwards, small arrow, and you just click on that one. And then you click on select a microphone, and there you click the internal microphone. Is there something? Can't find it. What about I'll try to give you support on WhatsApp, and maybe you can come in later. Try to resolve that.
Okay, yeah. So see if you can resolve that. She's got such wonderful clouds behind her.
Sure, yeah.
She's almost a god. Okay. Ah, is it Hadron? I'm probably not pronouncing you right. Would you like to come into the meeting? I think you sent an email and I recognize your name, but I think we haven't met before, have we?
No.
Where are you sitting?
In Austria.
In Austria,
A
okay.
little bit outside of Vienna.
Okay.
In the country.
Pretty amazing that we can connect so intimately from all these different countries, yeah?
Yeah, but I'm German, not Austrian.
Okay. Okay. I've been living in Germany for 20 years, so I've got to like Germans a lot.
I'm living in Austria for 30 years.
Ah, right. Well, you probably like the Austrians then.
No, but I don't know if I would like to stay here.
Well, after 30 years is almost half your life, maybe.
Maybe it's going to change.
Okay. Okay. Right. And what happened for you in the meditation?
In the beginning, I felt very exhausted and empty.
Okay.
Because I am exhausted.
Okay. I think you won't be so exhausted by the end of the meeting anyway. Yeah.
And later on, I felt very warm inside.
Okay. Right.
In the end, really warm everywhere.
Wow. Well, that's a quick change.
Yeah.
Right. I can't quite remember why you were writing to us. Was it in the last days I saw your name, I think?
Yeah. I have asked if I could stay 1 month.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
In the community.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Come tomorrow. Yeah. Don't postpone too long, but yes, you're welcome, of course. Yeah. Yeah, we have. I think if you're coming for a month fairly soon, you probably won't be here for Easter. But there's later in April we have a Vipassana weekend here, which is rather lovely. Yeah.
I heard about it, but I will have an operation with the teeth next week.
Yeah.
Again, and I really need a little bit time until everything is healed, and then I can come.
Okay. All right. So come when you're ready to come. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. It's very nice to meet you.
Yeah, very
It's always nice to meet people smiling. Anybody else smiling? Ah, there's a new person, Danny. She looks pretty smiling. Her pink top is smiling anyway. Would you like to come through?
Hello.
Oh, okay.
Hi. Can you hear me?
I hear you, but I don't see you. Can you help her to be seen?
Yeah.
I've got the name Maria, actually. Is that also your name? Or is that somebody else?
My name? No.
Not your name.
Not my name.
So can you help us,
Dani, kannst du was sagen? Vielleicht ist auch bei dir beim Mikrofon.
Also ich sehe mich und hier ist das Video an und
Genau.
auch das Mikro ist an.
Super, wir können dich hören. Alles
Ja,
klar.
gut.
Genau. Okay. All good?
I don't see her on the screen, though. I only see the name Maria on the screen.
Really? What about now? Can you see her now?
No, no.
No?
No.
Just a sec.
Well, I see her in the small at the top, so.
Okay.
But I'd rather see her big size.
I'll make her big. I'll make her big.
Okay, as big as you like. Enormous. Immediate expansion.
Ja, super.
This is actually a magic show, you know, it's a magic show. Om can do lots of tricks. Here he comes. He's a bit behind tonight, poor guy. Okay, now she's still there. Okay, very good. Have I met you before?
Only 2 weeks ago, I came here for the Zoom meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You weren't wearing such a bright t-shirt, I guess. That's why I don't remember you.
Me too. I don't remember.
Okay. Anyway, nice to see you again then.
Thank you very much.
What happened to you in the meditation?
So I was a bit late with the webinar because of my children. And
okay.
And so when I came in, you were already in meditation, and
Okay.
I was at the first minutes. My heart was beating. I was a bit nervous because it didn't work, and but then I calmed down very quickly and came into that stillness.
Right. Good. You've got a nice library behind you.
Oh yeah.
Very impressive. You must do a lot of reading. Okay, good. Well, let's talk again later.
Okay.
I think we've met almost every new person. Let's try Petra again. Om, can you help Petra? Did you help Petra?
Yeah, it should work now.
Okay, good. Petra, are you there? She's not coming through on the screen, and I don't hear her. Oh, there she is. Okay.
We still can't hear her.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's even taken her glasses off, but it doesn't help with hearing her, unfortunately.
Turn it on again, Petra, the microphone. Hello? No. Okay. Petra, I don't know what it is. Maybe there's something in the settings. Again, you could try with this arrow thing and select the same, dasselbe wie das System. Hast du? Yeah, we can't hear anything. It seems to not work.
Yeah. Anyway, I won't forget you, Petra, because you've got such wonderful clouds behind you. And you somehow mesmerize them, and so they don't even move. So perhaps Owen can help you and we can talk a bit later then. And also, I see that there are two people in the chat, so maybe there's some questions coming through in the chat. Yeah? Okay, so I wanted to speak a little bit.
Quiero hablar un poco.
So I wanted to speak a little bit tonight to make a kind of introduction, because today I had a car accident. So I was bringing my two daughters. I have two daughters, 5 years old, and I was bringing them back to their kindergarten. And I came up to a main road and I was almost stopped. So luckily I was hardly moving. And suddenly a young woman on a bicycle came right in front of the car, and we made contact, and she fell off her bike. And then it was quite dramatic because she fell down and got a wound on her forehead and started bleeding, and there was suddenly like blood everywhere. So it was very dramatic for a few moments, and I managed to get something to hold against the wound, and the blood bleeding stopped after about 5 minutes. And then a sort of a wonderful drama kind of developed, because then the police came and the ambulance came and mummy came. And in the back of my car, I had two little girls, and they've never experienced anything like that before. And actually, I've also never experienced anything like that, even though I'm very old. So we had quite a dramatic afternoon, and everything worked out. I don't think we were both maybe a little bit, I was a little bit not seeing her. She was on the wrong side of the road. So, you know, it was a kind of accident. But then it made me think, because if she would have been, you know, 30 seconds before she was, or after she was, and if I had been 30 seconds before or after I was, we wouldn't have had this collision. So isn't it an amazing thing that these two beings living on this planet, and one much older, one much younger, one on a bicycle, one in a car, they managed to come together exactly. So she exactly made contact with me on the front of my car. So, I mean, it's not like we're going to become friends or anything, but isn't it amazing that this kind of thing could happen? So she's clearly following her destiny, and I'm clearly following my destiny. And for some reason, our destinies met today in this collision. I think in the end it was an accident, and I don't think anything really came out of it. But it made me realize that, you know, we're having a kind of life on this planet for a number of years. Recently, I was reading a book of astrology. It's a very new book, where the professor who wrote the book, he was talking about, you know, the life from other planets, because he was saying that in our one solar system, in our one galaxy, he reckoned there was something like 30 billion planets that could support life. 30 billion planets in our one solar system, the Milky Way, that could support life. And of course, we know that there are billions of galaxies, yeah, billions. So what he was arguing was apparently quite controversial amongst scientists, because he was arguing that intelligent life is very likely to exist on other planets. And it's also very likely that on some of these planets, the life will be much more advanced than our life. Because if you look around, you can see that human beings are pretty primitive, actually. So I think this was kind of very touching for me, because it puts you also in touch with the notion of some intelligence, that there is some kind of intelligence, universal intelligence or divine intelligence, which when I was a little boy, people talked about God. And in my own family, we were not really talking much about God. But sometimes in my school, we would go in the morning to chapel, and there the priest would talk about God. And so I was brought up with some sort of concept of God, which I was never very much touched by, I have to admit. But now, many years later, not using the word God, but I prefer to use something like divine intelligence, I've become very clear in my own life that I'm not really doing my life anymore. In fact, I haven't really been doing my life for about 20 years, 22 years. And now I can say I'm a kind of servant of this divine intelligence, or we can use the word God. In India, they use the word self. So this is not a personal self. This is you could say, universal self. It's the concept that, in fact, we are all one, and every human being has something that you can call the divine intelligence, or you can call the self. You could also call it God. We have an essence inside us, which is this divine intelligence. And this divine intelligence is actually making our destiny, making our path on this planet. And therefore, if you can accept that idea, because you can also look inside yourself and see whether this is really true for you, then you can imagine this young woman was on her bicycle today, following her guidance. I was in my car picking up my daughters from the kindergarten. I was following my guidance. And somehow this brought us into this collision. So we can say that destiny brought us into that situation. And I don't personally feel I did anything. Probably she also didn't do anything. And yet we had this kind of profound meeting. So I thought tonight we could look a bit at whether we are actually the doer, or whether in fact we have already discovered that the one who we are very attached to being is really who we are, or whether in fact the essence of who we are is somehow absolutely connected, absolutely one, not connected, because connected suggests two, but we're absolutely one with some kind of stuff for which you can find your own word, but I like divine intelligence, or just intelligence, maybe universal intelligence. I mean, there's many words you can find, and for me, God doesn't really do it, because I'm unfortunately rather conditioned from this word when I was younger, and I immediately see a little man with a white collar and a black outfit, So I don't really, the association of God doesn't work for me. But I see myself living my life very much directed in kind of an amazing way, because, for example, now I'm talking to you, but actually, personally, I'm not really talking to you. Something is wanting to be spoken, and it's being spoken. And in a minute, I'm sure some of you are going to respond, and we'll have some kind of dialogue, some kind of meeting. So all this is happening. How? How is all this happening? And normally, if we're living in the society, we've been raised up with the idea that, I'm a somebody, and I am deciding my life. I'm doing my life. Every day we make kind of decisions. So today I would have decided, okay, I'm going to have a collision with a young woman on a bicycle. But probably I wouldn't have decided that. But anyway, for whatever reason it happens. And I don't know really, but I would say that particularly in the last 20 years, so since I was about 50 years old, I don't think it had been there consciously when I was younger, but it might have been, but I wasn't aware about it. But certainly since I was about 50, in the last 20 odd years of my life, I'm very much been aware of getting more and more in touch with something that guides me, something where I can say I'm in a flow with, something that directs me. And I don't feel myself separate from that. Sometimes I get particular messages which are just there suddenly. It's like they are just uploaded onto my hard drive, so to speak. And it's sometimes a very clear message will come. Maybe in moments late at night when it's very quiet, I'll be suddenly aware of some sort of upload, something that I need to think about. It might be a solution to something that happened in the daytime. It might be a direction for the next days in my life or something like this. And I suspect many of you are also having these kind of messages, and whether you're choosing to follow those messages, whether you trust what could also be called your intuition or not, whether you prefer to trust your mind, because for most of us, and certainly it was probably true for me when I was younger, I used to trust my mind. And if I had a particular decision, where do I go on holiday? Am I going to go to Spain, or am I going to, I don't know, Thailand, for example, for my holiday? Then I might even make lists, of all the reasons to go to Thailand, all the reasons to go to Spain. And then I would think about it, and then some kind of decision would happen. And then I would say, I decided to go to Thailand, and that would kind of keep me happy. And I book a ticket and off I go to Thailand. But nowadays, I doubt
Test.
Oh, hello, we got you now, Petra. Nice to meet you. Let me just finish talking and then we'll have a chat. Yeah. So nowadays it's never working like that. I think I almost never make a list about anything. And I'm very spontaneous. So for example, today I was making some decisions about air tickets, the date, the time, whether I go on this plane or that plane. So I'm looking at it, and then somehow and almost immediately I get some kind of, not exactly a message. I can't really explain what it is, but somehow it's very clear. I get given maybe 3 choices, and then suddenly an idea comes. For example, suddenly I get some sort of idea coming through, because, for example, at the end of this next month, we have a retreat in Tripelia in Ukraine, outside of Kiev. We have a beautiful retreat center there with a small hotel, and we have a retreat for 9 days. And 8 of our residents from the German community will fly to Ukraine for that retreat. And it starts on Thursday evening. So they were going to fly on Thursday and arrive in the afternoon and come directly to a meeting that I'm holding in Kiev. And then I noticed that the tickets on Monday were a bit cheaper. And suddenly I got this idea, okay, why don't we go on Monday together, 8 or 9 people? And we kind of deserve a break because we work a lot here in Germany. You know how hard working the Germans are. So we're always working a lot. And then when we get there, there's a little project, because we've got a new building which we're going to make into a special yoga space. So I had the idea, okay, we go a few days earlier, we work together as a group, we're going to paint the metal parts of this place different colors. So we're going to have some fun. We work together in the beautiful nature, because May in Ukraine is springtime. The trees are all covered in flowers. The birds are singing. Sometimes I hear a nightingale in the evening, and so all this just comes. It's not. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not. It just all spontaneously turns up inside me, and I make a very quick decision. Maybe I ask a couple of other people's opinion, and then it gets decided, and then off we go. In a month's time, we'll be on a plane on that Monday to Kiev. So this is actually a very nice way to live, I would say. And I wonder if anybody now would like to respond to what I'm saying. And now, as we can hear Petra, I think it's definitely her turn. Would you like to respond, Petra?
I was so absorbed with the technique of making myself heard. I'm sorry. Or they're a bit confusing. Next time I know how to set up my computer. Thank you.
Right. So where are you sitting?
I sit in Augsburg in Bavaria.
Okay, right. In the
my
countryside.
flat.
In the countryside?
Not in the countryside. It's a town, and I sit inside my flat on my sofa.
Okay. So the clouds are a photograph, I guess.
Yes, it's just a photo I once took.
Right. Very nice picture. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, nice to meet you, and maybe you come back later in the meeting if you like. And,
thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Would somebody else like to engage me in this topic of the divine intelligence? So I see Susan's there. We didn't talk earlier. Would you like to come into the meeting, Susan? Susan is a yoga teacher. I think was it in Essen? You're in Essen?
Okay.
Are you living in Essen? Are you living in Essen? Are you living in Essen? Is that right? Essen? Dortmund?
Essen.
Essen. Right.
Yes.
I always remember because I always say that's to do with food, to do with
Yes,
eating.
I am.
And you're a yoga teacher, yeah? So do you have something to say about the divine intelligence?
Ja, kann jemand übersetzen?
Yeah.
Okay, would you like to say a bit more?
Okay, I will try. Yes, I really think.
Go ahead in German, it's fine. Owen will translate for you.
Also, auf jeden Fall bin ich der Meinung, dass das Leben von Gott geführt wird. Ich mag das Wort Gott auch, obwohl es in meiner Kindheit eher negativ besetzt war, aber heute passt es gut für mich. Und
kurzen Moment, ich übersetze mal kurz.
Ja.
So I definitely agree that my life is guided by this divine intelligence, and I also like the word God. Okay.
Und ich bin ein sehr intuitiver Mensch, immer schon gewesen.
And I am, and I've always been a very intuitive human.
Right. And I think it involves trust, yeah, to be able to trust our intuition.
Yes, but I feel it. Also ich fühle, dass es so ist. Und manchmal fühle ich mich auch getrennt und verspüre so eine Sehnsucht nach etwas.
Sometimes I feel separate also, and I feel this longing for something.
Right.
Aber ich spüre, wenn ich mich dafür öffne, dass ich dann mich verbunden fühle und auch dieses Vertrauen in mir spüre.
But I can feel that if I open to it, then I can feel the connection and the trust to that.
Right. And somehow what we're really looking for is to live in this openness in every moment of our life, trusting this divine intelligence and accepting our destiny. Something like that is what we perhaps are looking for in our life.
Ja, dass eben nicht wir unser Leben in der Hand haben, sondern dass wir uns eigentlich fallen lassen sollten in das, was ist.
Yes, it's not that we have our life under control, but instead we can let ourselves fall into that which is.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So nice talking with you, Susan. Perhaps somebody else likes to come through.
Vishnu raised his hand before.
Okay.
Hi. There was just an impulse to raise the hand. There's well, actually, life is quite crazy. But I can't express it. It just happens. So it just happens. Life just happens.
Right.
So
and you're pretty unusual person because you've had a connection to me now for many years. I don't know exactly, 8 years maybe. And at the same time, you hold down a regular job. So they must be very understanding probably in your company. maybe you found a niche in the company where you get a lot of free space from sitting in an office on a desk every day. I think you travel through Europe, don't you, selling books?
I did actually. Right now I'm living the freedom at home. And it's actually,
right.
It's funny. It's life is doing its thing, and it gives me a lot of freedom. I have 2 understanding bosses, and I can, I can be as I am. Like, well, yeah, the stuff is just happening the right way. It's quite amazing.
Right.
I'm not doing anything. It just happens, and it's it's working out.
And I hope when we talk to more people tonight, we'll see that this possibility of living in a very spontaneous flow actually works out. You know, it's not like I'm not suggesting something stupid here. This is actually something that really works, and maybe it works even better than the old kind of functioning where we were attached to being somebody, and then we would put all our energy into trusting what our mind said. We were attached to the mind, and we trusted the mind, and the mind figured things out. And then we said to ourselves, I'm doing my life. And what we're talking about tonight is a deep let go from that. And of course, that involves a lot of trust. And possibly this trust takes some time to build up inside us. But once we have the trust, and in your case, you're in a sense remarkable because you're not leaving the society, you're managing to have that freedom inside the society. And somehow this divine intelligence understands you're the kind of human being that needs that, and they supply you with two bosses which can allow that amount of freedom. And you're working probably in a company which also can allow that kind of freedom.
Mm. Yeah, and all the other stuff that happens in my life also. It's like, it's a deep support from life. So it's not difficult to trust what happens. Yeah. Because it always works out. And even if something horrible is happening, it's working out.
Yeah. So would you say, if you look back onto your old way of living, where your mind was given the power to somehow decide, maybe you can't even remember those days?
Well, it's definitely, if you have special moments where you're completely triggered, yes, you can remember. But yes, right now it would be, it's difficult, yes. But of course, there are moments where I'm really triggered and mind is working very hard. And but it just came to my mind the memory when maybe 10 years ago or longer, when my mind was really active, and the first feeling was pain.
Yeah.
That came with it, with this memory.
Right. Yeah. Because I think what I can say for myself is that I don't think, when I was very much of a mindy person, I don't think I was actually suffering so much. I was a bit lucky. But now that I'm in this kind of flow where I feel myself quite surrendered to my what kind of directions come to me and messages that come to me, that I don't really experience much suffering anymore, actually. I mean, it does happen occasionally, but generally speaking, I would say that I'm always smiling quietly to myself. You know, when you go to a shop or the petrol station and they say, have a good day or have a nice day or something like this, you know, I always have to smile inside because I actually have a nice day every day for almost all day. And, you know, pain and suffering is not really a big part of my life anymore. It does happen occasionally, I would have to say, but generally speaking, it doesn't exist in my life.
I think it's connected with the trust. If the trust comes when you know everything is just running, where you should have pain, you're not contracting anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's a good expression, that you can actually feel it in your body. Yeah, because pain comes out of a contraction and a flow comes out of an expansion. So when you feel your body expanding or your energy system expanding, then you know you're in a flow. And if you start getting tight, you can feel some kind of smallness happening, then usually that, as you say, leads to pain.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful way to live.
Okay. So let's see if anybody else would like to take this up. Vati, would you like to come in? Vati is our community cooker. She's power of strength in the community. So how do you decide what to cook or what to buy to cook?
Vati, klick auf den blauen Button auf dem Bildschirm, bitte.
So, no. Yes, it's the same way I decide to cook. I often don't know at 4 o'clock what I will cook at 5 o'clock for dinner.
Right.
Only for retreats, I must plan a bit because I must have some things to cook. But normally, even during the cooking, I decide often things new. And I can also say that in the past it was much more difficult and planning 10 years ago about the cooking. And now I just look what I have and what needs to go, and then cook something out of it.
Yeah.
And
I can say it's the same for me with my meetings. With this meeting, 10 years ago, probably I was a bit wondering before the meeting what I should talk about or something. And now I just have to make sure that I show up on time, and that's about enough. And then it all happens spontaneously.
Yeah, and I have the feeling also that it is like a channel. I often say also jokey that dinner is not channeled yet at 3 o'clock.
Right.
So it's like you open the channels. I don't know. I don't do it really. It is just open.
Right.
And the trust, what Vishnu said, that you trust into this, that it will come also. Sometimes I must wait a bit. I don't know what to cook. And so at 4 o'clock, I know. And then I just do. Or in between, it comes. I start with something and then ideas are flowing because the I is not in the way who wants to do. This is
right.
This is really.
So you have more fun in your kitchen, I guess.
Yeah, much more fun.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, Parvati is an older person, but she gets somehow all the time younger. She's in a very interesting process in her life. Most people like me, for example, we get kind of older, and Parvati gets younger. So I don't know, it's to do with her cooking or I don't know, some secret ingredients maybe.
Probably. Divine intelligence.
Right. You like this word, divine intelligence?
Mm-hmm.
You like this expression, divine intelligence?
Yeah, I like it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This came to me also from somewhere, I don't know, probably from the divine intelligence. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not against God, but it has a bit this taste of there is somebody like God. Something or leave it or so.
Yeah, recently there was a spiritual festival in Kiev, and one of the residents of our community in Kiev wanted to go to this festival and give out, make my books available and some information available. And the people organizing the festival said, no, we don't accept John David. He doesn't believe in God. I thought this was a bit interesting, and how they get this idea that I don't believe in God, I don't know really. I would say that I don't see any separation between what's here and what God would be. And I also see everybody as God. So, I mean, I would say I'm a pretty good salesman for God, but they banned me from their festival, their spiritual festival, because I didn't believe in God according to them. So I guess they're influenced from the Christian church. In Ukraine, they have their own version of the Christian church. And it's pretty strong and powerful in Ukraine. Okay, so somebody else like to come through? We have lots of possibilities tonight. Raj, what do you reckon? Raj is one of our community residents. He recently came out from underneath a big rock that's been on top of him for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't, this thing of trust, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say I have this, there is still a problem with trust, So I would not say that this realization is so strong with me. I'll be very careful with that. So there's still a lot of identification.
Right. But you're pretty aware about that, that you have a lot of identification.
Yeah.
So maybe you could try a day where you throw everything to the wind and completely trust, and see how it is by the evening.
Yeah.
Because probably nothing very terrible is going to happen. It might be even quite wonderful.
Yeah. Let's try tomorrow.
Because you're living in a community of people where, it's pretty easy to trust in a way, because, we're quite a unique group. There's a very open energy here. So it wouldn't be so difficult for you to trust, I think, because you've already been here a long time and you've already probably experienced nothing very terrible has happened. So you could probably talk your mind into trusting for one day, completely trusting. Little experiment.
Okay.
Just before Easter, you can.
Okay, we try.
Okay, good. All right. So, who else hasn't spoken? Right. What about Maha? Maha, you were a little bit in suffering a few days ago. Are you having a better day today?
Yeah, I had a wonderful day.
Yeah?
Mm.
Okay. Well, let's hope your daughters are watching this broadcast, and then they can hear you and look at you and see that you're looking like you had a wonderful day.
Yeah. I just called them before, so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did they have a wonderful day too?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, there you are. That's good. So Maha's got two young teenage girls, daughters, and sometimes she has a little bit of trouble with that. So she's escaped for a few days from her daughters. Yeah.
Successfully.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think happened for you today here in the community? Did you feel something of the energy of the community? Was it just within yourself?
Yeah, I feel a lot of love. It's like being love and bathing in love, and everywhere is love, and it's just beautiful. And everything is easy.
Right. Yeah. So that's nice for that lady who's planning to come when she fixed her teeth. Was it her teeth? I thought she's going to have an operation or something. I think it was her teeth.
Yeah. It's like all the drama I experienced last weekend, it's like gone. I don't remember it anymore.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's very good also to have experiences of things like drama, because, as you say, now you don't see any of it around anymore, and you can even a bit laugh that you got so hooked into that drama, which at the time was feeling very serious and making you feel sort of depressed and without much hope and so on. And now quite quickly, because you chose to come to our community where there's a good energy field, then actually it changes very fast. Yeah. So this is also suggesting that, if we make a particular thing in our life that we particularly trust towards this intelligence, then basically our life goes into a flow. We don't get depressed. There's very few people in our community have ever been depressed, actually. I don't think for 20, I could say for say 20 years, I've never been depressed. Maybe maybe that's not completely true. I could be depressed for 20 minutes or something, or, you know, one night maybe.
Yeah, and even the food is like divine. Yeah.
All right. Well, we have this rather nice cook, you know, and she was telling us how she trusts the divine intelligence. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can feel it while you eat.
Right. Yeah. Good. Well, I'm glad it's worked for you. Yeah. So then you can also see that this divine intelligence is very close, actually. Yeah, you've only been here one day, so it's not like it's far away. It's only that we create some kind of cloud or some kind of how can I say, screen. You know, somehow we screen ourselves from this essence, and that is kind of one of our big problems. Yeah, that we carry around with us old stories in our mind, which sometimes we get very attached to. And then being so attached, I could share something, I think, that just happened to me. So out of my left eye while I was talking, I had a sense of there being a presence just on the left of the screen here. And then when I actually looked, it's a cushion, an embroidered cushion. And it's an embroidered cushion of one of Picasso's famous paintings of one of his lovers, actually. And it's a particularly lovely painting. Actually, for most people, it would be a strange painting the way he's painted her. But suddenly, I don't know, I felt this presence as if there was really somebody sitting on the left of the screen here. Very, very funny, very funny. Okay, well, that's nice to see that your eyes are shining and your face is shining again.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, what about Anna? I don't think I know her so well. She's sitting in the dark. I can hardly see her. Would you like to come into have a chat about the divine intelligence?
And can you just press on the blue button on your screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, I would like to trust some more. I think I still struggle at times. And I would like, of course, sometimes I feel divine intelligence is helping me. And I would like to surrender more to that. Yes.
And what do you think is preventing you from trusting more?
Yeah, the need to be in control, or fear that things are not going to work out well.
Right. Old memories, in fact.
Yeah.
You're talking about old memories, really.
Yes.
Something didn't work before, that you don't have the trust that it could work now because it didn't work before.
Mm-hmm. Yes, old experiences, yes.
And right now, if you look inside, what's happening right now in this moment?
I feel some joy.
Huh?
I feel some joy.
Okay.
When I'm talking to you. Yeah.
Right. This is one of the things that's very interesting for me with these Zoom meetings, because somehow the connection that we're able to have together right now is probably more intense than we would have face to face in a room, because I don't know, human beings somehow a bit avoid each other when there could have the possibility of something quite intimate. but somehow because we're sealed, maybe protected from the other one because it's a broadcast. I've forgotten where you're living, but you're not living anywhere near where I'm living. So we're unlikely to meet, but through the screen, we can have such an intimate meeting, yeah? You notice this? I find it quite incredible, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. And then in a way, the trust, everything starts to open up, actually, and then you feel joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Good.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice to talk with you. Yeah. Okay. So what about the pink shirted lady? Danny, you'd like to come into the meeting again? One with all the books.
Yeah.
You must be a great expert on something. Are you a great expert?
I'm really not. Those are not my books.
Right. Your husband's book. Yeah. He's a great expert on something.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you say about this subject?
Yes, I can understand Anne-Catherine very well because it's the same for me, the missing trust often in my life. I don't know why. It's part maybe of my personality or of the wrong personality.
Well, earlier I was making this statement that the professor of astrology has told us in a recent book, he's told us that there's something like 30 billion planets in our solar system, which is one of, also billions of galaxies, that in our galaxy, there could be something like 30 billion planets that could support life. And that seems to mean there has to be water, there has to be some kind of atmosphere, there has to be some kind of gravity, which anyway has to be somehow in the right balance. There has to be some sort of distance from a sun because the sun is needed to give energy in the daytime. So all these factors which we have here on planet Earth, he says they basically exist on many, many other planets, so many billions of planets, he's telling. So then somehow it seems to me that that can also help us because we can't really be so important anymore. Yeah. We're like, when you go to the beach, I don't know how many grains of sand would make up a beach, whether it would be anything like 30 billion, but you can imagine many small grains of sand. Yeah. So it seems to me that we get a bit overly serious with our life, with the idea I'm doing my life, and if we can see that possibility and simply first of all, not be very serious about things and see that actually what seems to normally be taken as serious is not really very important, because nothing is really very important. And the only important thing is that in each moment, you feel good, you feel nourished, you can say, not necessarily good, but you feel nourished, you feel that you're in a flow, that you're in touch with your intuition. That brings the possibility of a feeling of freedom where there's a kind of expansion. You can then experience love that's not loving somebody anymore, but it's just a sense of being alive, to be the love of just being here as a human being, with all our senses, all our experiences, all the people we relate to. I think you will say you have some children. So, all of this thing, which is our life, is so amazingly miraculous in a way, such a miracle that maybe that helps us to trust more because we're having a kind of pretty amazing flight, you know. You see the life as a kind of, you know, journey, a kind of flight, you could say. You know, we're going to many destinations, we're meeting all kinds of situations, all kinds of other human beings, and it's a pretty amazing moment by moment kind of phenomena, which could lead us to really trusting it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. And I realized that also in myself, that there is that, I don't know the word for that, also die Ebene, dass diese Ebene da ist, that there is a level of trust also in myself. But yeah, there are some blockages, but I'm happy to have that realization or that consciousness about when the trigger comes, or yeah, and when the blockages started to become bigger, or the mind starts to yeah, to talk too much. And I'm happy to realize that, and in that moment I can say, okay, there it is again, and maybe I can leave it for a while. Yeah.
Right. Good. Well, you can play with that. Yeah, you can play with that deeper trusting, I think. I mean, have you got young children?
Yeah. Yes, I have a young boy of 5 years.
Right.
And, yes, and I have a daughter of nearly 13 years, but she's handicapped, and she's more like a 3-year-old girl, and she always shows me, or she always, not she, but her disease always triggers my fear.
Right.
Yeah, so
you have basically you've got two little beings in your life.
Yeah.
And, you know, at my ripe old age, I've also got two little daughters, 5 years old in my life. And there's no question for me that they are like my last teachers. You know, they come into my life, my last test or my last teachers. I don't know how to really express it, but they're so in the moment that when I pick them up from the kindergarten, I say, "What did you do today?" They say, "I don't remember." They're not interested about what they did at all in the past. They're only interested in what's happening now. Are you going to give us a sweetie, Daddy? You know, they're very immediate, you know, amazingly immediate, amazingly present.
Absolutely. Also, my daughter, she has a strong epilepsy. So from time to time, she has those epileptic seizures. And I'm always suffering when I see her. But after it stops, that seizure, she's always smiling at me, and I think, okay, wow, she's really good.
Right. Yeah, but it's very worrying for you as a mother when that happens, because I've experienced people who have those fits. It feels like the end of everything in a way. Yeah. Well, you're in a very good situation, even though your life is probably not quite easy, and sometimes it gets on top of you. But to have a little boy, and then you have this handicapped girl, which nobody would really choose, maybe, but very often people that have something like that are actually quite blessed, and you actually smile more than you look serious. So, you know, it's not an easy flow for you, but it's a deep flow, yeah, because you're going to be deeply affected by your handicapped daughter.
Yeah.
Okay, nice to talk to you.
Thank you too.
So I think we're coming to actually the end of this meeting, because after an hour and a half, I explode if I'm not careful. So I have to stop soon. I would just like to make an invitation, because probably there's nobody listening tonight who's ever thought of flying to Ukraine. and nobody's sort of flying there at the moment when there's all these viruses around. Somewhere far in the east of Ukraine, there's a war going on. So probably Ukraine doesn't sound very attractive. I certainly never thought of going there. But I have to say we've got a very beautiful place. And you can, in May, it's full of birds and flowers on the trees. It's a very lovely nature. We're right on the bank of a huge river. And we're going to have a silent retreat for 9 days from the 1st of May. And because it's happening in Ukraine, it's much cheaper than when we do retreats here in Germany. If you've never met them, Ukraine people are very, very open-hearted. They have very lovely personalities, you could say. So I'm just provoking somebody who would like a new experience in their life. Come and join us for these days in Ukraine. It's could be a very life-changing moment, I would say. I've been doing retreats there now for about 6 years, I think. I do one in May and then one in July, August time. And the May one is always particularly touching because they still have insects, so they still have birds, and they're still happy, so they sing. I haven't heard the nightingale since I was a little boy in England. And there in May, in the spring in Ukraine, I often hear the cuckoo in the mornings, which reminds me of my early times. So I'd like to make that suggestion. If you're at all interested, you can write and get details from our organizer. And actually, she's in the book. She didn't talk, but maybe she'd like to say something. There's Radha, I see, sitting in the dark. You want to say something about that retreat, Radha? You've been several times.
Yeah, I mean, what I can say, it's a very, very beautiful location where you really have the space to connect to yourself, because it's like, when I first came to Ukraine, the first time, it was the feeling like, it felt like 50 years ago in Germany. Yeah? And it feels still more natural somehow.
Right, right.
And
they still have tomatoes that taste like tomatoes, yeah?
Yes.
They're not having a good shape, of course. They have funny looking tomatoes, but they taste like tomatoes used to taste.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really can recommend it, because it's very, what I said, it's a great opportunity to connect to yourself and come back to yourself without any distraction.
Yeah. So anyway, Radha is the organizer for that retreat. So if you have interest, you can send her an email. Okay, so thank you very much. We had a nice evening together. Thank you.